What's up guys, quick video today. It's a question I've seen pop up a couple of times asking about should I slam my stem? Like should I go for a lower position with the handlebars to get more aero, or should I ride a more regular upright position at the front and then force myself by bending my elbows and forcefully getting myself lower to get more aero? So I'm going to answer this question in this video because it's something I've played with over the years and I've thought about a lot and sort of flipped back and forth. And I'll give you my current thoughts on it as it stands now. So just to summarize again what the end goal is and then the two different approaches you can take. Well, it's sort of a spectrum, but we'll look at it from both ends. So end goal being you want to be riding in a good aero position. So low back, head down, nice aggressive aero position. So the two approaches being on one side, what you can do is slam your stem, maybe run a negative stem, and just force yourself into an aero position by having a lower front end. So that naturally, let's say as soon as you get in the drops, we'll use the drops in this example, as soon as you get in the drops, it's putting you in a position where your back's flat and you're in an aero position and you don't have to think about it as much. The other approach is you raise the bars a bit. So as soon as you get in the drops, you're not necessarily in a super aero position, but then you're reliant on bending your elbows more and forcing yourself down into more of an aero position to get aerodynamic. So pros and cons of each. If you go for the more aggressive handlebar position approach, the pros is that obviously you don't have to think about it as much. As soon as you get in the drops or bend your elbow slightly, bang, you're in your aero position, job done. The downside of that is that it can be just more uncomfortable to ride in because you'll find as soon as you get in the drops, you're in that more aggressive position and there's less control over your natural riding position. You'll also find when you don't want to be in an aero position and you just want to be riding along in your normal, let's say a climbing position, you're not going to be as upright. So the downside of having you more easily in your aero position means you're spending more of your time as you ride around in an aggressive position, which can be a bit more uncomfortable. The other approach, pros of having the higher bar approach, means that you're probably going to be more comfortable riding around just generally. The downside of it is when you do want to get aero, you really have to think about it. You really have to focus on bending your elbows and really think about lowering your back and tucking your head down. Because if you don't, you're going to be in a more upright position and therefore you're not going to be as aero. But the end goal can be the same for both. So both can have you riding in the same aero position. It's just one of them is going to take you thinking about it more often. If we look at some of the pros and who uses what approach, I would say someone like Remco Evenepoel has the approach of running a higher handlebar position, and then he just focuses. You can see him when he's riding along. His head's down, his elbows are in, he's really tucked in. But his position when he's riding around normally isn't super aggressive. He doesn't have this super slammed position, but you can see like when he's doing his efforts off the front, doing sort of like a time trial effort, you can see he's really thinking about getting himself low. So he uses more of that approach. An athlete that has more of the just slam the stem and then just deal with the position is someone like Adam Hansen. He's the one that comes to mind. So super long, super slam, super negative stem. So when he's riding around, he's just naturally in an aero position and that's the approach he takes. He is accustomed to that, but he's not going to be able to have that more upright climbing position that he would get if he was running a higher handlebar position and then just focusing through moving his body, getting into an aero position. So what do I recommend? I would say the best approach is the more regular road position, but then thinking about your position more. Especially because being aerodynamic on the bike isn't just about how low you can get. It's got to do with what your head's doing, if your elbows are in, how narrow your shoulders are. So I think this approach not only can be just as aero as going low, but it then gives you more of a comfortable riding position as you're generally riding around. So then if you are taking that approach of just using a more regular position and thinking about your aerodynamics and moving your body, a few of the cues you want to be thinking about. First one is the most obvious, is just getting lower. So bending your elbows, getting your back down. Second one would be bringing your head down. So as you get lower, think about bringing your head down, trying to get it in line with your body as you would on like a time trial bike. Then the other thing is, what are your elbows doing? Make sure that when you're bending your elbows to get low, they're not flaring out. So making sure they're tucked in. That's whether your hands are on the hoods or on the drops. You want to have low body, head down, and then bring your elbows in so they're in line, sort of in line with your thighs or your body. So get them out of the wind and bring them in. And then probably the last one, which can be a little bit more difficult about, is just think about your shoulders. So a little bit of a shrug, bringing your shoulders up more towards your ears. And what that's doing is just when you do that, you can see your shape gets narrower. So head down, bring your shoulders in, bring your elbows in, and then you're getting into more of your time trial sort of position, but on your road bike. That sort of gives you best of both worlds, where you've got your aerodynamics, but then you're not riding this super aggressive handlebar position where you're kind of uncomfortable. So that's the approach I would recommend. That's the one I've been using sort of the past 1 or 2 years. It's been working pretty well for me. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.